Welcome to the first episode of Game by Thrones. This is Zach Throne and my brother Chris Throne. If you guys have never watched our broadcast before, we did the broadcast for KIOW, Lake Mills, the Lake Mills basketball home games for girls and boys. Then we kind of followed the boys on their playoff run. We both played in the Lake Mills basketball program before, so we decided that our first episode, it'd be only fitting that we have Kyle Menke on. Kyle Menke is the head coach for Lake Mills basketball, and we had a great conversation with him. It went way longer than expected. Hopefully you guys could just play it on 1.2 speed, 1.5 speed. That's what I do with my podcast. It's a pretty fun conversation, so you guys are going to want to listen to it.
It is. It wasn't just a ask question answer. It was more of a conversation. We branch off into
telling
different topics, stories, memories, but also staying with this past season and looking to the future. But it was a good time. A great first episode. Hope you guys like it. And we'll have you vote on our player draft at the end.
Yes, at the end we drafted what we're calling the Quick Stats era draft. It's 2009 to current players for Lake Mills basketball. We each selected 5 players in a snake draft format. We want you guys to either tell us or tweet at us at GameByThronesLM. Or text us or Snapchat us who you guys think won. I think my team won. Chris and Coach Minke, they kind of think Coach Minke won, but I think my team takes the cake. You guys will see that you guys will hear and see that at the very end. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. We're excited to start this podcast for you guys where we talk about North Iowa area sports.
Yep.
And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy.
Thanks for joining in.
So guys, this is the first episode of Game by Thrones. After our little intro, we just did that. We have our first guest. This is Coach Kyle Menke. He's the coach of the Lake Mills basketball program. And Chris, any other thoughts on Kyle before we get into it?
Nope. Just kind of get excited to get this first one going.
All right, let's get right into it. We have a list of questions we're going to ask Coach Menke here, and we want it to be like a conversation feel. So let's get into it. The first, I guess, question or kind of prompt is, where did you go to high school? College recap. I know you played college ball. And then how did you end up at Lake Mills?
I got a trip down memory lane here to remember all this stuff. But I went to South O'Brien High School in Northwest Iowa. I graduated from there in 1995. I graduated from Northwestern College in 1999 and played a couple of years of basketball there. And that's kind of my sports background, and majored in elementary education with a coaching endorsement, which led me to where I am here today.
That was when I was in second grade was your first year? I was your second class.
You were my second. Absolutely. Yep. I remember that well. First class, guys like Jared Harmon, Brad Midlang. That's seems like yesterday in a way, but that's been 2+ decades now.
And what year was that? Your first year?
First year was 99, 2000 at Lake Mills.
That's when I was born, 99. So
there you go. You knew that. You were leading into.
No, I don't want to make you feel old. I was born in 99.
You
coached right away when you got here, right? Was it?
That was part of the ad. Back then, nothing online. I just found the ad for the job in the Des Moines Register and for third grade teacher and head boys basketball coach. So that's what I signed on to do right away, and I've been doing that ever since.
I haven't been able to get rid of you in 20 years.
Right. Somehow I haven't been let go yet. So it's no. I switched to fifth grade for teaching 5 years ago, but I've taught third grade and fifth grade the whole way through, and of course the head basketball coach.
Now we know you have good basketball stories, but JV baseball, there's some of my favorite stories that you ever tell, and one of them that always comes to mind is, I'll kind of lead you into it, but the pregame infield at West Hancock for JV, and Tanner was in left field. What happened there? Remember that one?
Yeah, I sure do. Yeah, so I coached, I think it was 9 years of JV baseball before with my own kids getting a little bit older. Got out of that, I think in 2008 was the last summer I coached baseball. But yeah, pregame hitting fly balls to left field, and yeah, just hit a fly ball out to left field, kind of one of those top spin line drives, and Tanner ran in on it, and it hit the tip of his glove, then his head, and then bounced over the fence and hit the scoreboard at West Hancock. And so it was kind of one of those things that was hard to believe watching it, but certainly one of my favorite baseball coaching stories.
That might be one of my favorite. Another one also deals with Tanner. Nothing to do on the field. Do you remember when you asked him if he could name 5 major league teams and he got maybe one?
A lot of guys, that was something that they'd give each other a hard time about. I don't remember what was Tanner's response on that. A lot of guys struggled with that question, believe it or not.
It was I believe he led with the Minneapolis Twins or something. So it was essentially right. It was close enough.
Well, there was the academic decathlons that people used to have. You remember those, right?
Oh, yeah. I vaguely remember those. Yes. That was very early in my high school or even 8th grade year.
Yeah, from the Billy Madison movie there, the academic decathlon. So, yeah, JV baseball brought out a lot of
it was fun.
I got to hear a lot of things that guys said, that's for sure.
It was a good time. I almost feel like I picked on Tanner there a little bit, but Tanner made probably the team. He just didn't care, loved to go out there and play, and provided some funny stories.
That was a great story because that ball, I mean, he was not close to the fence either. That's the thing about it.
That fence is a ways away.
Probably 30, 40 feet away from the fence, at least.
Yeah. They
everything had to happen just right for that, and it did.
How to hit the scoreboard off his head?
Well, it wasn't a fly ball. Like you said, it was more of a
though. You realize how
looping
hard
liner. No, yeah. It bounced. That thing bounced.
Perfect angle, I guess.
Because I was imagining just like a Jose Canseco, right near the fence, hits off,
no,
goes over.
Oh, absolutely not. Nope.
That far away.
And you got to think it's pregame pop flies. You're not hitting fence fly balls.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's middle of the outfield, and still hits the scoreboard.
Was he okay?
Oh yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's okay.
He was perfectly fine. He just looked in, and I hit him another one. Somebody ran out and got the one that went over the fence, and just carried on with the infield.
That was awesome.
Jeez, Tanner, that's hilarious.
Love coaching that guy. He still talking
absolutely.
to him. Big guy.
He's one of the best long jump athletes that we've ever had. When he didn't even he never even really worked at it. He just was able to go out there and do it.
Yeah, he was a fairly decent pitcher. I remember we used him as a JV pitcher some, and he did a good job with that. Very fast, very athletic kid for sure.
He's definitely, just naturally gifted in what he did. But speaking of that, what are the differences in coaching different sports, from basketball to baseball to track? What are your style, if it's different in the other ones, or just the game in general?
Good question. I mean, I think just each sport has just different little, I guess you'd say, little nuances of the sport that require you to maybe approach it a little bit differently. I mean, most of the players that had me for more than one sport would always say, I'm much more intense as a basketball coach. I think that might also just play just into the head coach, assistant coach dynamic too. I love coaching JV baseball and helping with track, and it's been fun to kind of be a part of all those programs over the years. But yeah, in terms of styles, I mean, that's kind of a tough one to answer, but I would just say that you have to, the nature of each sport maybe makes you change the way you approach things a little bit.
I would agree with that. I can't say I ever saw you slam a clipboard in a dugout or anything. So,
Right? Yeah. Yeah, maybe one or two of those in the basketball locker rooms, but yeah, no clipboard.
I think
Anything destroyed in baseball.
Was there? I don't remember what year it was. There was some time at like North Iowa. I think maybe I was a manager where you came in and broke one on the floor. That was like my this is what it's like.
That wasn't one of those times when I just asked the managers to leave prior to.
No, when I was a manager, there were a number
of
those. There were a number of those when I was a manager. You knew it was going to be bad when Minke asked us to leave.
You walk in and guys,
managers, you can get out of here.
Oh boy.
Managers head back to the gym, get ready for the second half. One of those things.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What you said actually earlier leads into our next question, and it's kind of the difference, not necessarily sports, but the roles of assistant versus head coach. How do you manage? I guess head coach is probably more of a management job. Assistant, you're kind of just helping with little details. What's the difference there?
I would say the head coach certainly, has to oversee everything. A lot more pressure on the head coach. I mean, that's one thing I found out from being an assistant is you're involved with a lot of the day-to-day operations and giving lots of suggestions and things like that. But ultimately, the head coach is going to have to make some of those final calls, and I would definitely say that just a little bit more pressure to make sure that decisions are being made correctly when you're a head coach, and there's decisions obviously as an assistant as well, but it's going to fall back on that head coach eventually.
And I mean, what was the years, or how many years were there between Minke being the JV baseball coach and you? It was like 5?
Yes. So you said what? You stopped in like 2008?
Yeah, 2008 was my last summer of coaching JV baseball. So then I can't remember who.
That would have been my sophomore year. So then Toby was there for my junior and senior year. And then I got it in 2012. So 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years
in
between.
Yep.
So yeah, two of the longest tenured JV baseball coaches in Lake Mills history in one conversation.
I don't know who's going to top this. This is a high quality conversation.
This is big time.
Hey, quite an honor for us, Chris.
Exactly.
I think coaching JV baseball, though, like you said, in the game of baseball in general, you can't be super into it the whole game. Like, it's more of a relaxed, patient coaching style. It almost seems like.
If you see something like glaring, you'll point it out. Coach them up, but it's not like you're nitpicking every single little thing.
Right. You're not like basketball calling a play every time down the floor, or the game more comes to you than maybe you try to control the game in basketball, if that makes sense. But definitely two different ways.
Yeah. Nope. And that kind of going back to what I said earlier, you can't have the same exact approach for every sport. That's just not going to work. Just with the nature of each sport being different, and track is even more so. I mean, track, you set your lineup. The kids are out there. They're going to run their races, come over to you, and get a little bit of feedback and get their times, and then on to the next one. And
that's true. I mean, during the race, you literally have no control. You set up the race, you can prepare them, but once the race starts, you can't do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Just hopefully that muscle memory from practice, all the technique and really technical stuff with track carries over into the race.
Exactly. The next one, we kind of go back to focus on basketball a little bit. Since it's been a couple of weeks since the season's been done, what will you remember most about this past team specifically?
So many things from this year. I mean, this is the 22 years I've coached. This is the most unique season I've ever had, but yet it's probably the most enjoyable that I've ever had. And that I've told a lot of people the season started with just that uncertainty of whether we'd even play. And so we just kind of took an approach of really trying to get the kids to practice every day as if we may not get to the next day. And I just was really impressed with how they took to that and bought into that, and the assistant coaches as well. And then, we were able to make it to that first game of the year against West Hancock at home. And honestly, after that, it felt like a very normal season, with the exception of smaller crowds and, wearing the masks everywhere and whatnot. But after that, it was, once we were into it, I think it was just all about the kids and helping them get better. And it was definitely a team that improved. The first week of the season, we really weren't that impressive. We got 2 wins to start, but not real impressively by any means those first couple. And then as the weeks went on, it just seemed like this group got better and better, and just even more focused and committed than they were at the beginning of the year. And we ended up having probably the best team in school history, I would say.
And I remember early on you had to deal with, Ryan had that ankle/Achilles injury, which he played, didn't miss any games, but that probably hindered him a little bit. And then Bennett had to miss a couple to a few games, so that you weren't really fully healthy.
Denton missed a couple.
Denton did miss a couple games, but then back half of the year you were fully healthy, and you really kind of saw the full potential of the team, which I don't know if there will be another team as fun to watch as the combination of guys that were on the team this year.
Yeah, well, that's true. Our kind of COVID issues came early, which almost every program was impacted to some extent, with somebody having to miss some practices or games or possibly both. But yeah, you mentioned Denton and Bennett each were out a little bit there at the early part of the season, and we had kids step in, do a great job. And like you said, once we got to January, it seemed like we were pretty healthy and just literally getting better week by week, and just so much fun to see where this team ended up, being able to go undefeated in the regular season and win the conference and win the district and get back to state. Just a lot of fun. Like you said, balanced team, so many guys contributing, and be fun to see if we can get ready to do it again next year.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to return Bennett and Wyatt. That's Caden off the bench. It's going to be an AJ. Denton. Very, very solid core to come back. But you have coached now at least the school's 2 leading scorers, the top 2. And Deshaun probably would have passed Granger if it wasn't for the coach holding him back in the second half, so when it was like a 30-point game. Mm-hmm. But we won't talk about that.
Should have ran up the score and kept him in.
I've joked with Deshaun about that. A lot of us as coaches have, and just like a lot of our guys, that doesn't seem to bother him a bit. I mean, you're right. He could have scored a lot more points. There were a lot of fourth quarters this year where we were up, 30, 40, 50 points and ended up playing, a lot of our freshmen, played a lot of those fourth quarters. And but Deshaun's one of those guys that completely understands that and knows that, we're not going to, and some teams will do that. Some teams will keep their guys out there till there's 1 or 2 minutes left, regardless of the score. And then you end up seeing these 80, 90 point wins that happen from time to time throughout the state. But that usually just brings so much negativity to the program when that happens. And so it's great when I can coach guys like Deshaun that understand the big picture and what we're trying to get accomplished. And,
I mean, the way they won games and played, I'm sure he would take that 100 times out of 100 over any individual statistic. I mean, being able to rest and watch the young guys play at the end of the game is always a good feeling as a starter, a key contributor, knowing what you did throughout the game. So
that's another part. I mean, with the freshman class this year, obviously your son Eli, Lance, Alex Manis, and Logan Bacon. How big is being on the team that they were this year, they get a lot of playing time at end of games. They're battling with them at practice. Like, how big will that be for their progression going forward?
Well, hopefully it'll make a big difference. That's one thing we have found in our program over the years is when we have young players, talented young players, when they can, see how it's supposed to be done and watch some of the leaders in the program, the older guys, go out there and lead, play well together and play hard and play unselfishly and just kind of, give that good representation of the way we want our program to look. It does. It helps out a lot. And I thought our young guys came in at the end of those games and continued to play the game the right way. And it's always kind of a nerve-wracking experience for young guys getting out there on the varsity court. And the good thing for them was a lot of times they were playing against varsity starters at that point of the game. And yeah, like you said, I hope that will make a difference when their time comes here sometime down the road.
And whenever they get in there, we talked about it on the stream a lot. They never seemed out of place. Like, they were confident in what they could do. They knew what to do. They never seemed scared of who they were going against. It's a good group to get that lot of experience in, really, and then I feel like it's going to benefit down the road. Just like you said, gonna break the nerves off, even though if they had any, get used to the atmosphere, and next year I'm sure they'll just keep progressing as they go through.
Yeah, I agree. They've played a lot. I mean, they're one of the most experienced groups. I've been coaching that freshman group ever since they were in second grade. We started doing some practices and a few tournaments in third grade, and those kids have played a lot of tournaments over the years. And so they've looked forward to their opportunity to get up and be able to play in high school. And I thought they did a great job for us this year. They came in and played a lot on the JV and the JV games and helped that team to a really good season. And then, as you said, got that quality varsity experience as well.
You want to take the next one?
Yeah, sure. This is a little bit more a controversial question, I guess. But, obviously, past two seasons, the two of the most, I guess, dominant teams in Lake Mills history, you guys have both lost to the eventual state champs, who were pretty low seeds. And do you think that's just a case of bad luck in terms of who we get matched up with? Or do you think there's some type of seeding issue? Or what do you think that is?
Great question. Yeah, I've joked with people, looking back at the season, anything I would do differently. And I guess I've got to figure out a way to not draw the state champion in the first round one of these years because, it's happened to us twice. But I guess, trying to look at that positively, I think there's a very good case that we have been the second best team in the state the last 2 years. And yes, we happen to have gotten beat in the first round, but it's good motivation for the guys, going forward. In terms of the seeding, this was just such a crazy year of 1A basketball. I mean, the top 5 seeds had a combined 1 loss. Grandview Christian had 1 loss. North Lynn was undefeated. We were undefeated. Easton Valley was undefeated. Martinsdale, St. Mary's was undefeated. And then Montezuma never lost at full strength. Their 2 losses early in the season were without that Eddie Burgess who was out with a football injury. So, I mean, it's just kind of one of those things where I think if you would have played that state tournament 5 different times, you might have gotten 3 or 4 different winners. Yeah. I mean, I think there's certainly a case where we win it all. There's a case for North Lynn winning it all. Possibly Grandview Christian as well. Of course, Montezuma did win it. And so just I've thought about that question a lot, and I just think it was one of those years where there were so many teams with excellent records. Somebody was going to have to get that 7th spot there, and it just happened to be the team that ended up winning it all. And
I think it's important to note with the past two years, obviously the year before being Wapsie Valley winning it all as the 8th seed and Montezuma as the 7th seed. Like, it's not like they were just some Cinderella team that got hot. Like, these were legitimate great basketball teams.
Wapsie plays in that conference. That's insane.
Yeah. They play tough competition.
So their record looks worse than maybe
Exactly.
other teams, but it doesn't translate when it comes to seeding. But yeah, no, obviously two very good teams that you lost to, and it stinks. Kind of leading to our next topic, but how one didn't get to play a third place game this year. But even if you lose the first round in any year, you don't get to see the true positions play out.
Right.
Which kind of stinks. You don't have a fifth place game or for seventh and eighth to get specified spots. And I think Zach came up with this one, how wrestling has an individual tournament. If basketball were somehow to have and correct me if I'm wrong on your thinking of this, a one-on-one state tournament, who wins?
Oh, wow. Like a 1A state tournament, one-on-one?
Yep.
And the concept we came up with it was because my junior year, obviously, we had Granger as a senior, and we thought if there was an individual, we had a lot of guys make it in wrestling that year, and obviously Slade won a state title that year. And we were talking like, if there's a one-on-one individual basketball tournament, I'm taking Granger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have that year. Honestly, if now that I've had a few seconds to think about it, does anybody beat Caleb in a one-on-one
Well, that's what I'm
tournament?
thinking too.
He can guard a guard or post.
He can guard
They
anybody.
Just back you down. They
The-
might play
Right.
off him.
He'd
The
be able to
only
just go
person-
inside every
Angelo
time.
against Caleb one-on-one
Angelo
would be
versus
very
Caleb would be really
interesting.
Yeah, that'd be true. And there'd be a lot of guys that would be hard to guard in the one-on-one part, but in terms of can also get the defensive stops. That's the thing about Caleb is he could go out there and defend the quicker players in the state and then also stop people inside too. So yeah, in a true one-on-one tournament, those two guys that you mentioned, that'd be fun to watch. I'd enjoy sitting back and just watching that. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
There wouldn't be much coaching from you to say, Caleb, back him down and put it in the hoop.
I mean, but then you're thinking if you had a Caleb and Trey Shearer matchup,
be a really
Trey's
good
going to
matchup,
get
too.
his scoring on offense, but what's he
Trey's-
going to do on
yeah.
defense? It just the mismatches you could have in a tournament like that would be
Right. Or
super
you get some
cool.
great ones where, a guy would score every time. It'd be interesting if you made it like make it, take it.
I just thought of that.
Whoever got the ball first might rattle off 11 straight points, something like that. But if they didn't, then they might not be able to get a stop on anybody too. So
Granger.
Sean would be tough in that. I mean, he's we do a lot of one-on-one things in practice, a lot of different drills, and it gets really competitive. I always enjoy, watching Deshaun and Caleb battle in, our one-on-one finish drill or in any of those things that we do. Zach, we would talk about you a lot. You probably did this already. The one-on-one finish drill. You hardly ever lost that. You just knew exactly position yourself and get the layups, get it out of the net, score it again.
I will say with the one-on-one tournament, I might have a chance with Granger because I did beat him in that drill. Because I was just way bigger than him, so I'd pin him underneath the rim and throw it in. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I have made a few adjustments to that drill, even in the last few years, simply because of things like that.
Yep.
And so, but it's still a popular drill because it brings out the competitiveness in everybody. And there were some fun matchups to watch this year. Wyatt against Caleb, Deshaun against Wyatt or Caleb. Bennett was tough in those drills. He gets in there and competes well. And really everybody on the team, there were fun matchups to watch. And I think it's a valuable drill. It definitely helps kids finish through contact and get a little tougher and a little edgier sometimes inside, be able to play with some toughness. And so, fun to watch that drill.
No, it definitely brings out the competitiveness in guys. I always thought it was more fun to either play or watch one of those drills when neither guy can get a bucket, and it's just stop after stop, and both guys are just dying, and they're trying to score.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there reaches a point in that where it's if it's 1-1 and guys have been going against each other for 2 minutes, then it's just a war of attrition, and sometimes we just have to stop. We just basically wave it off. That's enough. And yeah, but as you said, there have been some strange ones over the years too, where maybe nobody scores for 2 minutes, and then it's just then it's all conditioning after that.
Exactly.
Yeah, true. Do you remember when you used to do the true one-on-one tournament like before Christmas break? Like my sophomore year, we did it, and I was kind of mad at you because as a sophomore, I was still in the running to win, and we never finished the tournament.
We never finished it?
I don't think so, but let's be real. I was never going to beat Scuba, so maybe would have got third. Yeah, no,
I've got a fun story on that too. My very first year of coaching, I did that first year, had a one-on-one tournament, and I included myself in the tournament. I played against the players, and here's what happened. I won the tournament, which was great for me.
Yep.
I felt it made me feel like I could still play a little. Not so good though for the coaching end of it. When the coach is winning his own tournament there, and
That's funny.
we were 4-15 that year, so I suppose to be expected.
Who would that have been your first year?
First year guys, starting lineup: Matt Howen, Scott Gaskell, Kevin Stensrud, Derek Onrud, Bob Rugstead. Those were some of the guys. I think that was the starting group that I had for that year.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, the earliest thing I remember is essentially, well, I think I went with Dad to the sub-state game against St. Ed's when like Derek Richards was a senior. I think that's the earliest team I remember.
Yeah, that was a great game. That was, that year, Michael Stensrud, he had missed his entire junior year. And so, he I'd say it probably took him about half of his senior year to really get back into the full swing of things. And then down the stretch that year, he was dominant. And yeah, we were probably good enough to go to state that year, but just ran into a really good St. Ed's team in the district final, and I think lost by 5 in overtime to him.
Well, and you ran into him 2 years in a row in the same gym, didn't you? And Jared's year next year.
Yep, and the next year we won the conference. That was Jared's senior year, but again, it's weird. We got paired up with them those 2 years in a row, and then never in the same district again until this year. This year, if they would have beaten West Hancock in the opening round, that's who we would have faced in the district semifinal. But
that would have been a nice little payback, like 20 years in the making.
I mean, also you're St. Ed's.
Yeah, let's not go into that. We don't have good experiences with St. Ed's
do not like
in our
St. Ed's.
school. Yeah, we're not going to bring up baseball. Anyways, you want to jump into the rapid fire ones?
Yeah, so when I was coming up with these questions, I just came up with a little Game by Thrones rapid fire round. I added a couple over the past couple days. There's 10 questions. These are a little bit, short-term question or short answer questions. But Chris, if you want to ask them, you can. Or we can go back.
We'll go every other. Okay. You want me to take the first?
Yep.
Most underrated player that you have coached? Like somebody that doesn't get the publicity, but was still a very key teammate.
Underrated player. Jared would have to be one of those. Jared Feener from his
senior year. No, we're gonna cut that out. We cannot let Jared hear that.
Cannot let Jared hear it. That's funny.
Yeah, he'll be happy to hear me say that. But he averaged 2.5 points per game as a senior and was first team all conference. So I mean, somebody who, I don't think he got any any all district or anything like that. But somebody there who A lot of people did not realize how much of an impact he made for our team. But fortunately, some of the conference coaches agreed with me, and we were able to get him first team all conference. I'm trying to think of some other guys. Honestly, I have two of them right now, like Wyatt and Bennett, I feel are both very underrated players. And I think hopefully we'll see that come out next year. But they have both played with some really talented guys, playing with Chet and Deshaun and Caleb, and sometimes maybe haven't gotten as much recognition as players with their talent probably deserve. But no, they've played their roles well, and we look for great senior seasons out of both of them.
There were two kind of answers that I was maybe thinking you were going to say, and I'll just say them, and you can kind of react to it. Cody Haugo and Mateo Pena.
Sure. Yeah. Love coaching both of those guys. And you guys know this because when we talk, throughout the year, I'll flat out tell you. I mean, one of the things I like to do is refer to players of the past in our program, things that I remember about them, or drills that remind me of certain players or whatever it may be. But yes, Mateo was one of those guys, and Cody too. They jumped into great roles as a senior. Ryan Houston would be another one, like from this year, where they had roles on the team the year before, but then as a senior, just kind of came out of nowhere and were able to do some really important things, for those teams. Mateo was a good shooter and good energy guy and always gave you everything he had. Cody, I just remember how he was so smart with game plans and things like that. And, just always played to his strengths, never tried to do too much. What wasn't the thing with him is that and I don't know if I even knew this, but he was going to refuse to shoot any threes year. Wasn't there a story?
It was something like that. Him and Scott Ahmet pretty much refused to shoot any threes. I don't know if Cody made one. Right? I think Scott ended up shooting one
or something like that.
But Cody was like
these
maybe
are things
0 for 5 maybe on the year. But then after that, he's like, I'm not shooting anymore.
Right. Guys must have given him a hard enough time where he just made up his mind that he wasn't going to shoot him anymore. But yeah, that's another one of the fun things about coaching is learning some of these things after the fact. Probably just as well that I didn't know that Cody had been convinced that he shouldn't take any threes under any circumstances there. But it certainly didn't come from me. I mean, he could hit them in practice, but just chose not to shoot them in games.
Well, do you remember another thing with that year? So Josh Peters, senior year, Matt Throne, Cody Haugo, Scott Ahmet. Do you remember that in the middle of the year, Charlie Duggar, who was my grade sophomore, really came on?
I know what you're going to say here.
Yes. We had our starting lineup before Chuck entered was a 4.0 GPA. And then when Scott left the starting lineup, we always made jokes to Chuck that he drastically brought down the starting lineup's GPA.
Yeah, it's definitely brought up the team 3-point percentage, though, right?
Oh, so, definitely.
Yeah.
A nice trade-off there. Yeah, I knew you were going to, once you started in with mentioning Chuck there, I knew where that was going. But, yeah, KIMT came and did a feature on the team. I think maybe it was for Josh being player of the week, KIMT athlete of the week. And, that somehow came up. Josh, I think, mentioned it in his while being interviewed that we have a very smart team. Our entire starting lineup is 4.0 kids. And I don't know if I realized that at the time that they all had perfect 4 points at that stage of their high school careers. But yeah, I do remember the little jokes and the hard time that Chuck took there. But I think he was happy to hop into the lineup. And,
oh yeah, for sure. He played a crucial part on that team. I remember. So Forest City, they have an archive of their games, since 2006. And I was watching the first game at home against Forest City that year. Forest City was missing a couple guys, Ethan Erdman and I think Mitch Lambert. But Charlie came in. He did a pretty good job on Eric Erdman. Like, it was his first pretty much ever varsity game, legitimate action. He did pretty good on Eric. I remember he talked a little smack to Eric, too. Like, he's like, you know who I am.
Charlie?
Yes,
yeah.
Chuck.
Oh, yeah.
And Eric's like, I don't even know who you are.
I'm so glad I didn't know about that until after the season. That's one of those where you guys told me well after the fact. Everybody was smart enough to bring that up to me. But, we beat them the first time that year, and I think they did have a starter out or whatever. But I think Eric still scored 31 in the game, if I remember. So we held him to 31 points. But we did get the win.
Yep. And Eric, I think he ended up being the 2A player of the year that year, right?
I believe so.
I believe he was.
I think he did.
I guess that kind of takes me into my next question. Exactly. Who's the best player you've had to coach against, or like toughest player to game plan for? Over your 20+ years.
Yeah, well, it would be Eric Erdman. I mean, Brady Kurtz, Coach Kurtz, and I have coached together for a long time now, and so we do talk about this stuff. We kind of look back at old teams and just kind of, different questions like this that we pose to each other, and we both agree that Eric is the best player that we've ever gone against. So quick, had such a quick release on his shot, and he should, in my opinion, was a Division I player. I that's one of those things. I will never understand why Eric and then also Granger didn't get more looks. I know we're a small school conference up here, but those two guys, I think the last game of that year of Josh's, the 2015 season, Josh was a senior. Didn't Granger score 36 in that game?
I remember Granger having a really good game.
Yep, and Eric was amazing in that first half. We tried to play man, and that didn't work so well. Just carved us up there, but very, very talented player. I think I know he did a great job playing at Briarcliff, but he, along with Granger, I certainly think could have played at much higher levels.
Yeah, I want to say he was an All-American, I think, his junior year at Briarcliff, and then his senior year he ended up.
Wasn't he on pace to break like the scoring record?
I want to say
things like that at Briarcliff.
He was like freshman of the year as a freshman, but then his senior year I think he injured his leg and he was out all that year.
Yep. Piggybacking off of that, toughest team and overall that you've had to coach against or game plan for?
Toughest team. First one that comes to mind is the 2011 West Fork team with Seth Tuttle as a senior, and then they had a kid, Peyton Ploggy, was on that team, who was also about 6'8" or 6'9". And they had very good guards. That was a great defensive team. I think in the district final we played them, and it wasn't a blowout. I think we maybe lost by somewhere around 14, 16 points, something like that. But if we would have played those guys 10 times, I don't think we would have. Maybe we could have stolen one in there if everything fell right. But that was just an incredibly talented team defensively. And then, of course, with that type of size at the small school level, you can throw the ball inside to a couple of those guys and get baskets. And they had enough shooting as well, and they ended up, I think, did they beat Western Christian that year, if I remember right?
I think so.
Won the state title. I know they were undefeated state champions, so I'd probably pick them.
And then obviously Seth Tuttle goes on to have a great UNI career in college.
He was made it to Missouri Valley Player of the Year senior year, wasn't he?
I think, did they win a game in that NCAA tournament?
That I don't remember.
I remember him playing very well on the big stage.
Yes.
But that takes us into our next question, the fourth one of the rapid fire round. As a coach, what's the best quality a player can have?
I would say just unselfishness, being coachable. I think that's one thing that I can usually tell pretty quick with players, even from maybe when they're youth players, middle school players. if they are if they're playing for the team, for the program, or if they're playing for themselves. And for the most part here, we've had a lot of kids that sometimes make individual sacrifices for the good of the team. And we kind of mentioned some of those different players earlier already. But yeah, to me, it's that's always been the big thing, is trying to get coachable, unselfish kids who think about the team and the program first. And usually when that happens, they take any individual pressures that they've had on themselves, or from their friends or from their parents or whoever it may be. If they think about the team and program first, they're usually able to go out and maximize their ability. And then a lot of times those individual things happen as a byproduct of playing on a great team. But yeah, that would be my answer there, is unselfishness.
That's what I've always told Zach. If he'd have been more coachable, he probably would have been better. But he just didn't listen.
Yeah. It's hard to listen to your oldest brother.
I'm glad you guys didn't set me up and make me have to say that about Zach there. I'll let the brotherly debate rage on there.
That was hilarious.
Very. I probably could have guessed you'd have said being coachable, being an intelligent person, but somebody that we feel is smart. How are you a Duke fan?
Yeah, how are you a Duke fan?
That made me laugh. I mean, I rewound that like 2 or 3 times when you guys mentioned that. It was an early season game, right? When you had that.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one.
I don't know.
A December game, but yeah, I was just watching the stream of the game, and I kind of got into that habit of coming home and grabbing something to eat, and then just watching you guys listen to you call the game. And yeah, definitely made me laugh there. Yeah, Duke, definitely one of those teams, either you love them or hate them, right? I mean, it's like Notre Dame football, or the New York Yankees, or whoever you want to put there. But yeah, to be honest, guys, I have followed them less and less the last few years, just because the players are only there like 1 year.
True.
The really good players, you hardly get to know them, and then they're on to the NBA. So
you don't get attached to them like a John Shire or
Smith.
Nolan Smith, the guys that are there for 3 or 4 years
end up being very successful too.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. That's that would make it difficult. Being an Iowa fan, we don't deal with that a whole lot.
Yeah, we don't get that luxury.
No, you don't, and that's. But truly, it was a lot more fun in the past, where you got to watch Grant Hill for 4 years, or somebody like that. Bobby Hurley, Christian Leitner. I'm going way back to my early years of liking Duke. But, everybody made such a big deal about that freshman group that they had with Zion and Barrett and those guys. But, they were there 1 year, and it's hard to get as attached as a fan, I guess, when you know that they're just putting in their time and waiting to get drafted into the NBA.
There's Zion, I think, said on JJ Redick's podcast, he was actually convinced he was going to come back to Duke for a second year because he loved it so much, but he claims Coach K didn't let him because there's just so much money, you can't pass that up. So you could have got a second year of Zion, maybe.
If it wasn't for your own coach.
Yeah, if it wasn't for your own coach.
That too. Yeah, right. Yeah, and I'm not going to pretend I know all the inner workings of how some of that stuff goes on, but yeah, it would be interesting to kind of some of those postseason meetings between top players and their head coach to see how much they really do try to talk them into coming back or talk them into leaving and taking a high draft position. I suppose it just varies from program to program.
Mm-hmm. And that takes us, I guess, right into the next question. You already mentioned a couple of your favorite players, but we have favorite Duke player of all time, and I know you're a huge Vikings fan. Favorite Viking of all time.
Yeah, favorite Duke player is Grant Hill. Do you guys remember in my room? I still have some of these old school Grant Hill posters. it's always fun to ask the fifth graders now if anyone knows who this guy is, and every once in a while there'll be someone who who's watched some highlights or whatever and remembers Grant Hill. But yeah, he played for 4 years and won 2 national championships, and so following his career was a lot of fun. And then of course, he was probably on pace to be a Hall of Famer in the NBA, but just had so many injuries. Actually, go back and watch some of his highlight clips on YouTube. They're really impressive. But I'll take him as my favorite Duke player. And then, Chris, I know you're going to love my answer to this. He was only there for a short period of time, but Teddy Bridgewater is my. And I think
Thank you. Yeah,
I loved watching Teddy Bridgewater. He was like the perfect quarterback for a Mike Zimmer team. And didn't they won the division in his second year, right? In 2015.
Should have won the playoff game if it wasn't for a player not to be named.
Could have kicked the 27-yard field goal. They would have won a playoff game. And then I believe the next August is when he had that terrible knee injury. So you'll never know for sure, but I do think Bridgewater would have been a very good Viking for a long time.
And not that we don't have good people at quarterback for Kirk now, but Teddy outside of football was also one of my favorite people to follow and things he did. He's just a very great person, for one, and very well spoken.
I mean, there's a reason why he's one of the most likable guys in the NFL. Like even other NFL players loved it when he came back from that injury. And
I think as much or as speechless as I was after the Minneapolis Miracle, it was the opposite after that field goal. Like, I was still speechless. I just sat there and I didn't realize exactly, probably for a few days, that he missed that field goal.
I didn't talk. Charlie Duggar was over at our house, and I didn't talk for the next half hour. I just sat there.
I think Paul Allen said on the radio, I was the same way. I was mentally packed for Arizona already. And I was like, yep, I like our matchup against Arizona. And it all of a sudden, the straight left.
Yeah, no, that was, I'll remember I was watching that with Eli in the basement, and we were, I think we had gotten home from something earlier that day, so we were like behind, and so we're catching up, going through the commercials, and toward the end of the game, like, Marie comes down in the basement and like sits with us and starts watching the game, and I thought, oh, that's probably a good sign, because she probably knows that they've won the game. And she just wants to be down here to see us celebrate the win. And then, of course, the field goal gets hooked. I think she was just down there to make sure that we didn't destroy the basement.
I mean, understandable.
Which is probably really smart on her part.
Yes, exactly. That was
I think
tough.
We'd played Seattle earlier that year and got absolutely destroyed. And then
like 35 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Or 47, something like that.
Yeah, no,
that playoff game was one of the coldest games in NFL history.
Yeah, Bud Grant walked out in a T-shirt to flip the coin. Yeah, I would never play in something like that.
It was awful.
Let's see, what do we got next? Ooh,
number 6.
What team? So we're a little bit into the tournament now with the Sweet 16 going on. Is there a team that you maybe want more to win than others that's left?
They're the favorite to win, but Gonzaga, I feel like, deserves to win one of these years.
He loves Jalen Suggs, and
I met him this summer. Of course, I love him.
That's the only reason, though.
Too. Yeah. Didn't Taylor play him in one-on-one or something?
Yep. There's a video. They did like a 3-point contest, one-on-one. It was really cool. We went to Minnehaha Academy to tape it, and it was really cool. His dad was there.
Didn't Taylor almost beat him in Pig?
Yeah, he almost beat him.
But then that's why when Iowa played Gonzaga, I'm like, okay, Jalen's not a good shooter. And all of a sudden he makes like 5 threes.
He was 6.
If Jalen ever watches this, I like you, but like, don't ever do that again. Please.
He lit up Iowa.
Yeah, no, they're fun to watch. I like Kispert. He's
game
fun
was
to
good.
watch. I wanted Oral Roberts, obviously.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Did you watch that game? Catch any of that?
I saw a little bit of it. We got home from vacation yesterday, but I was watching some of it, and yeah, that would have been a fun story to see them in the Elite Eight. Other than Gonzaga, I think I picked Houston to go to the Final Four, so I've got to keep rooting for them.
Alabama's
Michigan's playing
different.
Michigan,
Yes.
yep. If they
I
play
picked
against
them
Florida
to
State.
go to the Final Four.
Yep.
I don't know much about Oregon State, but isn't it? It's Oregon State, Syracuse. Is that right?
Syracuse lost last
Oregon
night.
State, Houston.
So it'd be Oregon
They
State,
did, okay.
Houston.
Yeah. Oregon State,
Okay,
I don't
gotcha.
get it either. They look really good.
If
But
they
they
don't
were-
win
well,
the Pac-12, they don't make the tournament.
No, I know. I don't. And they were picked to finish last in their conference this year. I don't know. The Pac-12 has played awesome.
Yeah, being on vacation the last week, I have not followed many of the games, but kind of look forward to getting back into that here in the upcoming days.
Question number 8. Is there a coach in particular or a couple coaches that you just have tremendous respect for? You hold them up here. You love what they do. Are there any coaches like that in the area?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like it doesn't feel this way to me, but I mean, I have been coaching longer than most of the area coaches now. There's not too many that have been here longer than I have, but I really respect Coach Rosacker at Forest City. Just seems like year in and year out, that they're going to have a good team. I just always respect the preparation that they have and just how good defensively they are. Coach knows at West Fork, I think has won over 600 games, and just enjoyed getting to know him over the years. So those would be two that I've always. I wouldn't say always enjoyed going against because they always have very good teams, but they bring out the best in you, and they're guys that I just have a respect for the way they do things. But the very few coaches I've come across that I haven't enjoyed. I mean, that's one of the fun things about this profession is getting to know different coaches, and obviously you're competitors with them, but just getting to know them off the court a little bit and just kind of conversing with them, picking each other's brains a little bit. That's been real fun for me.
So during our streams, usually we do it for both games if we think of it. We'd always have a player comp where we'd pick one of the boys on Lake Mills or one of the girls and compare. And I think the first one I just randomly brought up was Bryn Rognes compared to Draymond Green.
We compared her to Draymond Green, and I wholeheartedly agree with it.
Strictly play style, not talent. I think I got it from one of the NFL draft guys I follow on Twitter. Compared to the play style they have. So that was the first one we did. We ended up doing Bennett, Caleb. I think Caleb I picked, you'll hate this, but Tyler Hansbrough, just with the intensity and things like that. So, your turn.
There, huh?
You have to have a player comp for me and Zach.
Yep. And be honest.
Any level of basketball.
Wow. See, this one I wish you would have sent me ahead of time here. So a player comp for both of you guys. Well, so for Zach, I'll start with Zach.
Okay.
Here's what I always think about when I think of you. You dominated that one-on-one inside drill. You couldn't be beaten sometimes in that, but you rarely scored inside in games. You were out on the perimeter. I mean, you get some buckets down low, but a lot of your shots were shooting threes. I said, who are some current guys that are 4s or 5s, but get most of their shots on threes?
I couldn't even tell you.
Man, you guys seriously should have sent this one ahead of time because I'm drawing a blank here as to who to compare you to.
We didn't even think.
Because you had a 7 3-pointer game once, right? Didn't you make 7 3?
6 of 7 against Newman.
Right?
Yep, last ever home game.
Which was a game I think we turned. Didn't we turn it over like 25, 28 times? And we could hardly handle the ball. But we shot it so well. 14. Yeah, we stayed in the game. That was crazy.
I think Josh Fitzgerald had like 10 steals.
Yes, he did. I remember that well. For not being real happy about that.
It was awful
at the time. For Chris, current or past player, just Chris, I get asked a lot about who is the better scorer between you and Granger.
It's Granger, 100%. There's no competition.
I'm just saying, in just you had games because you had a 10 3-pointer game, right, against West Fork,
and sadly
sadly
Cotter let that go away to Charlie.
Oh, Charlie's 13 game.
Charlie had a 13 3-pointer game. You had a 10, and then Granger had a 9. I mean, that's pretty rare for one program to have that many guys that reach that level for threes. I don't know. I'm gonna go on to the next question. Maybe something will come up as we go. That's a tough one for me.
Yeah. So the last question of the rapid fire round is, the Throne Boys. There's 4 of us. So we're asking you, who's your favorite set of 4 brothers that you've coached, and why is it us?
And then why is it the Thrones? Yes, well. I've been here long enough where I have coached a lot of brothers now, and I'm trying to think next set of 4. I have 3 Helmings now, and then little Johnny is coming up. That would be a number of years down the road, so there'd be another possibility of 4 brothers. I thought when you started that, I thought you were going to make me rank you guys out as my. I will not. We don't do that.
Yeah, we don't need the embarrassment for Zach.
We know number 1. We don't need to know the other ones.
Well, okay. Was it going to be in player talent or likability or what were you thinking there?
Whatever ends up with me on top works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it is pretty neat. In all seriousness, the number of brothers over the years that I have been able to coach, and a lot of times they're players that have been very impactful players for us, and so that has been a cool part of my coaching career is coaching guys like the Thrones and the Helmings and the Brants, and I mean there's been a lot of groups of brothers that have gone through that have just been fun guys to get to know and to watch them progress through the program.
Yeah.
I should said it. There have been, I forget about the Brants, because I only played with Alex. You got the Kinglands. You've got.
There are a couple of Riggs. No.
Yeah, David and Michael Rigg. Yeah, no, there's been.
Stentrudes.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean, overall, when you think back on it, the different amount of siblings that you've personally coached is pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it has. It's been a lot of fun.
So it's time for the draft now. We were telling you about this beforehand. So we're going to do we called it a quick stats era draft because it's, 2009. Chris's senior year was 2009 to 2010. That was the first or second year that quick stats was really being used across the state.
You had to put it in or something.
Yeah, so 2009 to present. Lake Mills basketball lineup. We're each going to draft 5 guys. Coach Minke is going to go first, and we're going to do it snake style. So it will go Coach Minke, Chris, me, Chris, Coach Minke. You guys get it. We'll each have 5 on our lineup. And we told Coach Minke ahead of time, so he had a little bit of time to think. But I think...
Well, I've already written Granger down.
I think we know who he's going to take, but we want to hear the official pick here from Coach Minke.
All right. Well, I'm looking at the list of different guys that you sent me, and this is like big time pressure on me right here. This is why I like when when I refuse to officiate the alumni tournament because of this, because it's like I did that one year, and there's too many close block charges with former players looking at me like, you must like him better than you like. No, that type of thing. Yeah. But no, I do refuse to officiate the alumni tournament because it's just too hard for me to do that with former players. But yeah, you called it. I'm going to take Granger as the first pick of the 2021. Oh, well, it's current players too, isn't it? You've got
it is.
Got
it
some
is.
currents.
Yep.
Yeah, Granger's going number 1.
All right, now before I make my pick,
Just draft yourself already. Just draft yourself already. Just do it.
I mean, I'm going to.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Jared's going to listen to this, and he's going to be mad that we're not including his team. But to be fair, we've got somebody that doesn't remember
Exactly.
teams back then, and they didn't have stats put in.
They didn't have.
So, Jared, we're sorry. You might have been picked.
You're just too old,
Maybe.
Jared.
But, see, we already talked about this. I know the 2 you're taking already. If
Just
I
take
don't.
yourself. So
Okay, I will take
my
myself.
So that leads me to taking Caleb Bacon and Josh Peters. with
Yeah,
my
see, that's
first
hard.
2 picks. Obviously, if you guys don't remember Josh Peters, great point guard, could shoot from 3.
I always called him an Eric Erdman light.
Yeah.
Like, not as good as Eric, but like
Similar
if there was
play styles.
similar play style, if there wasn't one that was as good, he played like exactly the same.
Yep, very efficient, very, very efficient.
Oh boy.
Just competed. I love playing with Josh. So Chris
I
has
get
his
pick.
second pick here, the 5th overall pick. Who's he gonna pick?
We're gonna go.
This is a tough one.
It is, because there's 2 different ways I could go, but I'm going to take Deshaun.
Okay, Deshaun Lennon is the 5th overall pick. Now that leads to Coach Minke has the 6th overall pick and the 7th. So you
7th.
get back-to-back picks here, Coach.
Ooh. All right. Pressure's on here. I will take. Let's see. I've got. I'm gonna go with 2 very recent players that I have coached. I'm gonna take Deshaun. You've got Deshaun. Right?
I took Deshaun. Yep.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good.
Go with. Oh, this is so hard, guys.
I feel like my team's gonna be the worst just because I'm in the middle.
I might not have agreed to this podcast at all if I knew that this was not. I will take Chet.
Okay.
And then I get the next pick too, correct?
Yep. That is 2 insane bucket getters.
Yeah.
on one
Just give him the
team.
ball, watch him go get a bucket.
This team is going to score a lot of points here, I think. I'm going to take, and then I'm going to take one of my assistants. I'm going to take Hunter.
Hunter, that's a good pick.
Hunter.
I like that pick a lot.
Can we restart?
Restart.
Like, that is insane, the shooting already. Okay, so my 3rd pick. Oh, boy. I'm going to have to go. If I'm not missing any names, I'm going to have to go Wyatt.
Wyatt at the
Yeah.
8th overall.
I got to match up Wyatt with Granger.
Got to get some size.
Yep.
Now that puts me in a little bit
Go with
of a
Wyatt.
tough position. I think I know for sure who one of them I'm going to take.
Yeah, you get 2 again.
With the 9th and 10th pick. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to take Charlie Duggar. And then, Charlie graduated with me. There might be a little bit of bias there, but I love my guy Chuck. Great player. Great shooter. Great defender. Next one. Who am I going to take here? Let's go with... Marcus Gaskell.
Dang it.
2 of the best rebounders in school history. You're not getting a board on my team. You will not rebound the ball at all.
Yeah, that's tough.
Incredible rebounder. Incredible rebounder.
Marcus and Caleb.
As instinctual of a rebounder as you'll ever see at the high school level. I'm just looking at these names here. He was the type of guy, seriously, that like he could be on the right side of the floor and a shot would go up and he would just be able to read that it was going to come off on the left side and he would just come out of nowhere. I started using the term rebounding outside of your space because of Marcus.
Using that, yeah.
And he was so good at going and getting the ball. And a great finisher inside, too.
So I have Caleb, Josh, Charlie, and Marcus. Chris has himself, Deshaun, and Wyatt. And then Coach Minke has Granger, Chet, and Hunter.
I got to pick one
Chris
for
is
my
up next.
4th. Oh, boy.
A little toughy.
Don't have a point guard.
You know who you got to take then.
There's 2 options. One of them.
Well, if you don't take one of them,
one of them would hate
very
me.
mad at you. Exactly.
Yes.
One of them would be very mad at you if you didn't take them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my point guard, Alex Grunov.
So Alex Grunov's off the board. Let's see. Coach Minke is up.
So you get to finish your team.
Stealing them one pick ahead of me here. Okay, so I need. I've got a couple of good ones to choose from here. So I've got Hunter. This is a really good team. I'm going to take. I'm going to take Tyler Rice and Bennett. Those guys, excellent defenders, and Tyler could really score the ball. So yeah, Bennett is my point guard. I've got Tyler and Hunter, and then I've got Chet and Granger.
Yep,
that's tough.
It's a tough team.
I think I'm going to game, fellas.
I don't know.
I think if we put our 3 teams together, I'm feeling pretty good about this team.
What do you got for your last pick, Chris?
I can play the 4, Deshaun. I got a point guard. Oh boy. I need another guard, maybe? If I could bottle up State Ryan Houston. I would. And he's played with us a couple times. He hasn't cooled off.
Yeah, we just played to pick up with him a week or so ago. He's still on fire. It's hitting everything.
He is, and the thing about him, and I tell you about telling stories about players over the years. Such a great defender. Mm-hmm. He even in that state game, the Trey Shear, as well as he played, Ryan defended him really well.
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
Watching the rest of that tournament play out, I'm not sure anybody defended him better than Ryan did.
I agree.
The kid from Northland did a great job on him in the championship game, but Ryan could really lock people down, and taller than people thought. He's 6'3", long arms, and excellent defender.
Chris's last pick here, and then
this
I'll
is
have the
tough.
Final pick.
My team is already like 3rd. But
you have that much faith in yourself, or what?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like. We'll put it to a vote after this, obviously. Put it to a vote. My team is not going to win.
Well, if people respond, if they listen to this, who has the best team?
I'm debating Denton or Ryan. Or Mateo. Mateo's like the true microwave. Like
against Belmont, he had like 25.
Yeah.
When you guys, I'll give you a little extra time to think here. When you guys put this list together, did you kind of just used quick stats and kind of some
Yeah,
of the top
somehow I
athletes?
realized Granger's not even on here.
Oh,
So I don't
Granger
know
isn't?
what I did.
Oh.
I was because it when I highlighted names, it did their stats too, which I didn't really
Yeah.
need. So I deleted
Somehow
so I must have taken them
don't
off.
I don't think I would have forgotten about him. Even
Maybe that was my plan.
Hopefully, he doesn't
That was
take
my
it.
plan.
Okay.
This is really hard. I'm just gonna go.
I
All right,
have
I'm gonna go Ryan.
yeah.
3 and D.
So that brings me
There
to the
you go.
last pick, the 15th overall pick of this Quick Stats era Lake Mills basketball draft. And I think I'm gonna go with another guy from my class.
You,
No. I wish. But
Luke.
Luke Groh shot almost, I think, mid 40s percent from three. Could get to the rim and finish. When he wanted to, could defend very, very well. Great rebounder as well. Was great at tipping the ball to himself. I feel like I got some good value at the 5th pick.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Oh boy,
So-
I'm just looking at this. This is
Read off
I
the
have another
teams.
underrated player there. You talked about
Yep.
underrated players earlier. Yeah.
so we got Kyle's team: Granger, Chet, Hunter, Tyler Rice, and Bennett. Mine is
Did a great.
Ooh.
there we
Okay,
go.
yeah,
There we go.
we'll restart. I'll cut that part out. Yeah, the Wi-Fi was kind of acting up again.
Okay.
Do you want me to restart the teams?
Just restart the teams, yeah.
Kyle's team: Granger, Chet, Hunter, Tyler Rice, and Bennett. Mine is myself, Deshaun, Wyatt, Alex Grunov, and Ryan Houston. Zach is Caleb, Josh Peters, Charlie, Marcus Gaskell, and Luke Groh.
My team's fire. I think I won. Just saying, I think I won.
No.
Nobody's
no.
grabbing a rebound off my team.
Granger?
Marcus and Caleb are. This is senior
just gonna-
year Granger. This is senior year Granger. This isn't bulked up. College
Okay.
Granger.
Okay. Fair
This isn't
point.
bulked up college Granger.
Fair point. See what I did? I took Wyatt, so he's still got a year
Wyatt does still have
to
a
get
year.
bigger.
That's true.
So
and so does Bennett. Bennett
Bennett is a yeah. If you ran your 2-3 you ran this year with that lineup with Hunter, Chet, and Granger on the back, that is like almost like when
Huge.
West Fork had Tuttle and Plaguey on the back. The wingspans there are nuts.
Yeah, that would be fun, and maybe we can get this going at some point. Is to get those 15 guys, and we could play the game.
That would be actually
We could
really
play.
fun.
Just about everybody is around. I'm not sure about Marcus. What's Marcus Gaskell up to?
I
these
think
days?
he's around.
Around.
I don't know.
We could that could be like a fundraiser for the program or something as
That
part
would
of
be
the
cool.
alumni.
It's a good idea.
I'm in for that.
I think you could get some people that would pay an admission to come watch those 15 guys play ball again.
There'd be a lot of talent. A lot of Lake Mills.
There's some
talent.
really good guys. There's some really good guys that we didn't draft.
I know.
On
Yes.
this list here.
I agree.
You still got Denton, Mateo.
Well, in a couple years, the Denton pick.
Denton would
change.
be, yeah.
My daughter Emma's sitting over here giving me some suggestions as to possibly who do you think, Emma? Oh, that was she. Emma knows. She suggested Andy Stensrud.
If we would have included
Might have
that,
He wasn't
those-
here when we declared that it was 2009.
Right.
And beyond,
Gotcha.
if we went from like 2000 to now,
Or 1997 or whatever it was.
that would be loaded.
That'd be so loaded.
Now, we've talked about this in open gyms. Like the last all-area alumni tournament we played in, we played really well. But now we get to add like Granger,
Josh.
Chet, Josh. Our team, we may not play.
Yeah, well, I won't play. I'll just sit there. I'll watch.
We'll just cheer them on.
Yeah, I'll cheer him on.
It's going to be really good. Hopefully they still do that.
I came to the last one you guys had. Remember that down at the rec center at
Yeah.
Nyack? You guys won that, right? That was
Yes.
We went undefeated.
In terms of point differential.
point,
or
yeah, we won
something.
on point differential. I think.
Yeah, because we didn't play. Wish we'd have played Fort State.
It was
but we
just
didn't.
3 games.
Yeah, but no, we did.
We claimed the title.
Okay.
We should win the next one.
Should win the next one whenever
But-
they have it. I don't know. Whenever.
Hopefully they keep doing it. But yeah, we'll see what people vote here. I have a feeling it's going to be lopsided, but
Yeah, to me, I'm confident my team we
Right,
can get it.
yeah.
I'm confident my team we can get it.
no.
Read the teams one more time. Read the
Okay.
teams again, please.
You are Granger, Chet, Hunter, Tyler Rice, Bennett. I am me, Deshaun, Wyatt, Alex Grunov, and Ryan. Zach has Caleb, Josh Peters, Charlie, Marcus Gaskell, and Luke.
And
Okay.
this is important to state. It's a high school, like abilities in high school draft, obviously. So a guy like Hunter Kingland, very good in high school, but I think he's gotten so much better.
He's
since
really
high
good
school.
now.
He's so
Yeah.
physical. He can shoot.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like, he could always shoot, but so efficient now. Can finish inside. Like
Yeah.
Hunter is a great basketball player, and he got even better after high school.
That would be fun.
I would agree. Yeah, it'd be a great event to watch.
Yep.
And I'm not officiating.
I was gonna say you're
I'm
probably
just
not gonna officiate it.
No.
I'm gonna sit back and just enjoy watching guys I've coached.
That'd be a good time.
Before we do the little outro, do you have any ideas about the player comps? Has anything popped into your
I
head?
forgot about that.
No, it really
Oh,
hasn't.
Okay. I added that. Yeah,
I
added
just
that
need
last
time
night.
to. Okay, you did.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, just let me throw this. Who would you guys say are your player comps? Do you have? I'm not good at doing that. It's like someone will say, who would you compare Chet to, or who would you compare Wyatt to, and sometimes I don't know. There's just so many differences from player to player that I guess I'm just not very good at doing that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, just being honest, maybe like Kevin Durant. Or...
Shut up! Oh my gosh!
Love it.
Well, like
That's confidence right there. Zach, now you got to come right back with something.
Well, like with me, I feel like I'm a pretty unique player. I'm not tall. I'm pretty husky. I only shot threes. I was a pretty good team defender, not good on ball, but I'm a very, very good passer. So
I was going to say, that's what I think of when I think of you, is threes and passing.
Mm-hmm.
A guy only had to be open by like a half step, and you'd hit him.
So like me and Luke, especially like in those last couple games, like against Rockford, like we had so many give and goes. It was awesome.
Yes.
Joe
Yeah,
Ingles.
I remember that.
Joe Ingles, that's not bad. Not
overly
but
athletic.
That's
Very good shooter.
That's a decent player comp right there.
Or Brian Scalabrine.
No, Brian Scalabrine. Did you see the video? There's
That's
a video.
why I thought of
Brian
it.
Scalabrine the other
Love
day.
that.
Some high school player went up to him and challenged him, and Brian Scalabrine.
I think
cooked
Brian
him.
Scalabrine traveled about 3 times. On
He's NBA.
I
He's
swear.
an NBA player. He can do what he wants.
He's just used to
Yeah.
not having any of that stuff get called. Have you guys seen his the radio station in Boston that had the Scallenge they put together? They called it the Scallenge.
I
for
think
Brian
you've
Scalabrine.
mentioned that. I've never seen it though, or heard it.
I don't think so.
Okay, well you guys should look that up. That is on YouTube, and there's a lot of them. I mean, he plays a lot of different guys in this Scallenge, and
Interesting.
guys learn pretty quick that it's not, even if they're former college players or even some former pros, it's a little bit different when you're playing somebody that played in the league there.
Yep. Exactly. What is he, like 6'9", and has
Yeah,
a
I
handle,
think
can shoot?
6'8" or 6'9", and it's still in good enough. I mean, guys just can't stop him. I mean, he just goes inside and gets whatever shot he wants. He shoots threes. It is fun to watch because, and then he plays the three, and he plays 3-on-1 against the 3 radio guys, and that ends up 11-1 as well. So yeah, it's pretty funny. You guys check that out.
That's hilarious. Well, Boston Celtic guy, right? Coach Minke?
Yep. Yep.
So obviously, like, Brian Scalabrine didn't play a whole lot, but he was on that championship team. Like, Brian Scalabrine is probably one of your guys, even though he didn't play a whole lot. You like some Brian
I liked
Scalabrine.
watching him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's their color commentator now.
Really?
I've got
I didn't know that.
PA League Pass, and so yeah, he does the color commentating for all the Celtics games, and he's good. He knows the game well. It's fun to listen to.
Yeah. This is random, but he was a part of. There's a thing. He went to USC, right? I think USC.
I think so.
I want to say
Chris?
so.
I mean, you're the basketball reference.
I want to say it's USC, but there's a clip on YouTube. I think they were down like 5 in college with like 8 seconds left, and they end up making a 3. I don't know if he was a part of any of it, but then they hit a half quarter to win off a steal. It's just a crazy comeback. So if you think of it, look up a USC Scalabrine comeback. I can't even remember if he contributed.
Was that one where yeah, they made a 3, and then the other team just tried to throw it to the other end of the court to run the timeout. Someone stole it and then hit from half court.
To win. Yeah, no, I can't remember if Scalabrine hit the first 3 or not, but he was on that team, I believe.
That's awesome.
But for a little outro, I wrote up something a little bit last night. I had Chris look over it, and he agrees with everything that's on here. So I speak for the both of us when I say you have made a great impact on our lives. Our love for Lake Mills, for the Lake Mills basketball program, is in large part due to you. The program has been built with great hands for 20 years, and we hope it continues for many more to come. We appreciate all you have done for Lake Mills as a basketball program, school, and community. Lake Mills is a better place with Kyle Menke involved and affecting the lives of children and young men. Thank you, Coach Minke.
Well, geez, guys, thank you. Again, you should have told me you were going to put that in there too, so I be prepared for that. I don't want to get all emotional on you here at the end, but I really appreciate you guys saying that. You guys know how much I enjoyed coaching you. And we do. We as current coaches here, we still talk about our alumni all the time. Okay, there's not a week that goes by where we aren't referencing something from the past. And and also, I'll just speak for everybody else in the community too. Everyone enjoyed so much you guys is announcing this year. That was a fun element to the season that I think really brought just something extra. I think it built up even more interest in the program. I mean, obviously the team that we had this past year was extremely fun to watch and very talented and in my opinion the best team in program history. But you guys had a role in that too, because with people not being able to come to especially a lot of those early season games, it kept the interest up. And believe me, I have watched a lot of streams over the years, especially now. That's how you scout now with Huddle and all these streams. I mean, you don't have to really go to as many games in person. And there's some pretty rough streams out there, some announcing that leaves a lot to be desired. Won't get into that, but that's another thing that as coaches we joke about all the time, some of these other streams out there. And you guys do a great job. You know the game well, and you guys are even able to call out like my set plays before they happen. I always would laugh about that. We're bringing the ball up the court, and one of you's like, I think they're going to run gold here. And
Chris said that. I had to give him a bump. I'm like, Chris, stop.
I pulled the hands off, and everybody in the area knows that. We've run that for so many years now, but just makes me smile when I watch these games and know that guys like you are still a big part of it. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, no, it means a lot. Obviously, we had a great time doing it, and just in a weird year, something that we were able to look forward to, and I'm glad other people enjoyed it as well.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a lot of fun. Thanks, guys. I hope you'll consider doing it again. It was a big hit in the community.
Yeah, no, that's the plan.
I enjoyed it a lot,
Yeah.
and it's opened up opportunities for this podcast right here.
Yep.
So thank you to all that listening to this podcast. We're hoping to put it out on YouTube, so we're doing a visual element and an audio element on Spotify or a couple other platforms, hopefully. So this has been the first episode of Game by Thrones with Coach Kyle Menke. Thank you guys for listening to this, and have a good night.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.